Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to 2020 Capacity Building Partnership Webinar on Skills Competition. It is an honor to be your MC today. My name is Jimin Kim from HRD Korea. First of all, I would like to thank all of the audience joining us today. Thank you very much for attending the 2020 Capacity Building Partnership Webinar on Skills Competition. On day one, we discussed and shared ideas with notable speakers how to facilitate collaboration among WSI members to bridge the skills gap for a better world. On day two, the main theme will be the paradigm shift of skills competition against COVID-19 pandemic. Again, we are providing Korean English interpretation service for those who are participating in a Zoom meeting. The interpretation icon can be found at the bottom of the screen. Now, we will officially begin the day two of the webinar. First of all, I would like to introduce today's delegation and speakers who are here. We have Mr. Lee Myung-hoon, Executive Director of Gifts from HRD Korea and Secretary General of World Skills Korea. Mr. Kim Hyung-sik, Director of Skills Competition Department from HRD Korea. Mr. Seo Sung-yeol, Director of Global HRD Cooperation Department from HRD Korea. Mr. Eddie Lee from World Skills Korea. Now I would like to introduce today's speakers on the screen. We have Mr. David Hoy, Chief Executive Officer of World Skills International, who will be delivering a keynote speech. Ms. Ekaterina Loshkarova, Official Delegate of World Skills Russia and WSI Board Member. Mr. Neil Bentley Gochman, Chief Executive Officer of World Skills UK. Now, we will go into the keynote speech. Mr. David Hoy, the Chief Executive Officer of World Skills International, will present on the topic, how to proceed skills development during COVID-19 pandemic. Please give a warm welcome to Mr. David Hoy. Mr. David, when you're ready, please turn your video on.
Well, hello everyone, and a special thank you to Mr. Kim Yang-hoyeon, Vice President of HRD Korea, and to Mr. Lee Myung-hoon, Executive Director of GIFS and Secretary General of World Skills Korea, and their teams for organizing this World Skills Capacity Building Partnership webinar for skills competitions. I'd like to extend an additional and special thank you and congratulations to our hosts, World Skills Korea and the Human Resources Development Service of Korea, for your ongoing and high-level commitment to skills development within Korea and globally. Our President paid tribute to your giving back to the international community yesterday in his keynote speech. Korea is a long-standing member of World Skills International, having joined in 1966, 54 years ago. They were the 11th member to join and the second from Asia. Today, Korea is one of our top performing members, consistently in the top few at every competition over the past 15 to 20 years. That success is due to a clear understanding and implementation of the benefits of skills competitions to economic development and success. It was very interesting to read the encouraging and wise words from your Korean president in 1967 when he addressed the competitors, and I quote, "Technical and skilled people like you are the pillar of national building and bring us bright hopes for the modernization of Korea." Your economic growth and success from then until today is testament to that vision. But of course, no one can ever sit and do nothing in a competitive world, and hence this webinar. The theme of today is about the paradigm shift of skills competitions during the pandemic. And I've been asked to mention two areas. The first being, what role do skills competitions play in skills development, especially during the pandemic? And the second being, as WorldSkills International, who works closely with the competition organizer to ensure quality and delivery, what are our current views and lessons learned so far in preparing a skills competition during the pandemic? My speech will touch on the following 5 important points in the context of that theme. 1, we need to ensure young people are attracted into the skills. We need to promote the value of skills and that a career in the skills, trades and technologies is a very good first-tier career option. 2, we need to inspire them to perform beyond competence to excellence. 3, we need to inspire teachers and experts to continuously learn what is excellence, to ensure students have the best opportunity to learn and demonstrate excellence. And 4, in the absence of being able to run traditional skills competitions and events with the person-to-person contact, what alternatives do we have to achieve the same or similar outcomes? And 5, we need to ensure that participating in a world skills competition and winning a medal or award is truly about excellence and being the best in the world, done in a real environment exactly as we found in the workplace. In order to address these points, we need to look at the role of skills competitions in skills development and skills promotion normally, and then how does that or can that apply in a pandemic? We also need to look at what are the essential elements of a world skills competition, both as an event and as a large number of individual skills competitions. And what is our value proposition and brand promise? And how does that or can that apply in a pandemic? Skills competitions play a critical role in skills development and skills promotion. They are an important and proven way to inspire skills excellence. Research has produced persuasive findings that can be summarized as follows. World skills competitions raise quality, promote professional development, and drive improvements in vocational education and training. That statement is from a collaborative research about world skills conducted by 3 universities a number of years ago. Now, I'd like to state that I don't believe we're in a binary situation of pandemic and no pandemic. I believe we're in a situation of multiple phases for our future. The first being in the pandemic, demonstrated by lockdown and or severe restrictions on person-to-person contact. The second being emerging from the pandemic, demonstrated by a period of time where the danger of regression is real, and therefore strict rules and guidelines need to be implemented and adhered to. The third being the new normal, demonstrated by a return to a mostly normal life, but with some activities restricted or guided by regulations and rules. Maybe there is a fourth period where there are no restrictions on person-to-person contact, etc. But I am sure there will be new attitudes, innovations, and expectations, coupled with the disappearance of old attitudes and ways of doing things. It's still the new normal, but with no restrictions. My point here is that all strategies, programs, and activities about running skills competitions should align with each of these phases and the expected duration of each phase. And of course, this will vary country to country. The COVID-19 pandemic has turned our world upside down, causing tragic loss of life and disrupting our social and economic order. The pandemic led to school closures across the world and forced teachers and students in many countries to adapt quickly to teaching and learning online. For schools and universities, this was relatively straightforward to do. But for vet colleges and institutions, the move online could not be done completely because vet has essential elements requiring hands-on work. While distance learning cannot completely replace in-person training and its effectiveness depends on the occupation, it can nonetheless help learners to remain engaged and continue to make progress in their studies. These efforts at online delivery and communications can enhance one-to-one digital and real-world interactions between learners, learning providers, and employers. The pandemic has brought about an amazing number of ideas, inventions, initiatives, and technology advancements that have been fast-tracked due to both opportunity and necessity. We have seen a number of our members implement initiatives utilizing digital and online opportunities and technologies from skills promotion to skills training, to skills challenges, to skills competitions. We are very supportive and encouraging of these activities. I'm very pleased to see the UK and Russia as the next speakers, as they can address some specific approaches and examples for the audience. Both have been pioneers and leaders in different areas. Only after the pandemic has passed will we really know which of these are here to stay versus those that were here for the pandemic. Disruption and necessity are great drivers for innovation and creativity. We are very confident that we will have an increased number and variety of tools, resources, programs, and activities to enhance and expand our work. Now is a good time to mention the difference between vet delivery and assessment and skills competitions. It is very important to note the difference. Vet, vocational education and training delivery is the work done in colleges and institutions or in the workplace to provide students with the opportunity to acquire workplace skills and knowledge. Assessment is the process of collecting evidence and making judgments on whether competency has been achieved to confirm that a student can perform to the standard expected in the workplace. Assessment of knowledge and skills is integrated with their practical application. The standard expected in the workplace is set by nationally recognized qualifications from industry-developed training packages or accredited courses. WorldSkills does not set standards, but via our skills competitions and the process involved, we do provide an international benchmark for occupational standards and training at the highest level and the comparative performance of members' vet systems. We must continue encouraging young people to take up a career in the skills, trades and technologies. We are now hearing countries say that there will be a skills shortage in a few years' time because they have not been able to get students into apprenticeships and vet courses this year. Without skills competitions, how can we promote and interact with young people? Fortunately, there was already a lot of resources and platforms prior to the pandemic, and young people were comfortable with the online world. So we see, one, a big increase in the number of platforms offering solutions. Two, some very neat and innovative ideas evolving on these platforms. And three, more and more enterprises and companies increasing their online activities and profile. Just recently, I was talking to Norwegian Employers Federation representatives, and they are implementing online virtual career fairs to ensure that young people can make decisions and keep fulfilling the skills demand for employers. WorldSkills and its members and partners have gained significant skills, knowledge, and experience with planning and developing skills competitions. This has been on display each year, from the small local competitions in schools and colleges to the large national skills competitions in major venues, right up to the global showcase and championship we know as the WorldSkills competition. Let's not forget that skills competitions are not just about the competitors and experts. A critical ingredient for a WorldSkills competition is the engagement and visits by tens of thousands of youth, parents, industry leaders, teachers, government personnel, and policymakers. We have made the important decision to postpone the 46th WorldSkills competition from 2021 to 2022. This was driven by the facts and to give all members the chance to reboot and recalibrate their national programs in order to prepare for participation at the WorldSkills competition and receive all its benefits. We must also respect the return on investment for the host country. We believe and support innovation and implementation of online and hybrid formats of skills training and skills challenges to achieve many of the benefits and objectives that skills competitions bring. However, the jump from organizing a national competition to an international competition is huge. And we have many requirements that are too costly and currently impossible to implement in an online, digital, or hybrid model. For example, every competitor must use the same equipment in the same environment and under the same conditions. Judging requires multiple persons to ensure accuracy and fairness, and often the detail of marking can only be done by being there with all of the competitors and their work. But of course, there are already some skills, like the digital ones, that can be easily adapted. In some cases, they are already being done remote. We believe that many of the lessons learned and the experience gained will be beneficial to capacity building by being able to service more people in more places with better quality learning resources. We also believe that many innovations around showcasing will open up new opportunities for fun and engaging impact with youth, whether they be at the age of deciding what career they want or already be in a skill or trade. Like members, we will also use this period to reboot, recalibrate, and reconceptualize. It's a great opportunity to ensure we are addressing important aspects like sustainability and integration of green skills. To finish, I have a few holistic comments on the future. We will emerge from this pandemic, that is guaranteed. When is not 100% clear, but from all the credible research and intelligent sources available, it is 8 to 18 months away. My point being is that it's not 5 to 10 years away. Skills development and effective deployment of skills will be critical to the post-pandemic economies. It is clear that a flexible and highly skilled workforce will be critical to economic recovery. There will be a recalibration within sectors and labour markets as economies adjust to the new normal. Some industries will reduce, even disappear, and others will grow and strengthen. WorldSkills and its members must stay relevant, and we must show impact. That is our challenge, and that is our opportunity. So thank you for inviting me to share some thoughts and perspectives today.
Thank you very much, Mr. David Hoy, for the insightful and informative speech. Please once again give a big applause to the CEO David Hoy for the for the keynote speech. Now we will begin the session 3. Our moderator for session 3 is Mr. Lee Myung-hoon, the Executive Director of Gifts from HRD Korea. After the end of the presentation, we will have a Q&A session, so please stay attentive to the session and present questions to the speakers using the Zoom Q&A box. I will now hand over the mic to the moderator, Mr. Lee Myung-hoon. Lee Myung-hoon, please.
온라인으로 참석하고 계신 기빈 여러분, 안녕하십니까? 오늘 섹션 3의 좌장을 맡은 이명훈입니다. 섹션을 시작하기에 앞서 귀한 시간을 내주셔서 기조 강연을 해주신 WSI 데이비드 호이 사무총장님께 진심으로 감사의 인사를 드립니다. 오늘 기조 강연에서 그 팬데믹 상황에서 기능올림픽이 어떻게 가야 될 것인지에 대한 좋은 의견 감사드립니다. 그럼 먼저 섹션 3의 발표 순서를 말씀드리겠습니다. 오늘의 발제자는 총 3분입니다. 첫 번째 순서로 한국의 김흥식 기능경기부장께서 K방역을 통한 기능경기대회 개최 사례를 발표하고, 이어서 예카테리나 로슈카르바 월드스킬 러시아 공식 대표의 온라인 기능경기대회 개최 사례를, 마지막으로 닐 벤틀리콩만 월드스킬 영국 대표께서 코로나19 팬데믹 상황에서도 지속적인 기능 인력 양성 사례에 대해 발표해 주시겠습니다. 그리고 Q&A와 토론 시간은 3분의 발표가 모두 끝난 후에 가지도록 하겠습니다. 그럼 먼저 한국산업인력공단의 김흥식 기능경기부장께서 K방역을 통한 기능경기대회 개최 성공 사례에 대해 발표해 주시겠습니다. 큰 박수로 환영해 주시기 바랍니다.
네, 2020년도 대한민국의 K방역을 통한 기능경기대회 개최 성공 사례를 설명드리도록 하겠습니다. 먼저 저희 대한민국의 기능경기대회는 15,000명 정도 대규모 대면 행사와 국민들에게 공개된 누구든지 참여해서 관람을 하는 기존의 대회 형태였습니다. 코로나19 관련해서 저희는 이런 확산 방지를 위해서 2가지 주요 포인트를 가지고 접근했습니다. 언택트 온라인 비대면 행사라는 참여자 간의 접촉을 최소화하는 부분과, 또 마스크 착용, 이격거리 준수, 스마트 채점 시스템 도입, CCTV 웹 공개 등 안전 수칙을 준수하는 걸 주요 안점으로 해서 행사를 진행한 바 있습니다. 먼저 코로나19 관리 체계를 구축하였습니다. 대회 전체적인 방역 관리를 총괄하는 총괄 담당관을 운영하고, 또 7개 경기장별로 행사 시설 내 방역을 총괄하는 방역 담당관, 또한 열화상 발열 체크기 운영, 경기장 출입 관리, 또 유증상자 발생 시 격리 운영 등 이러한 역할들을 하는 방역관리 전담자와 각 참여하는 17개 지역의 시도의 선수단을 관리하는 담당자를 지정을 해서 24시간 모든 참여자들을 관리할 수 있도록 구축을 하였습니다. 다음 대회 전 K방역 사전 준비로서 질병관리청과 협조해서 모든 참여 대상자를 사전 조회하였습니다. 또한 경기 중에도 보건소 및 지자체와 협조해서 코로나19 의심 환자 발생 시 신속하게 3시간 이내 진단 확인까지 할 수 있는 대응 체계를 구축했습니다. 만약에 의심 환자가 발생한다면 격리 공간 이송하고 보건소 신고, 또 이상 유무 확인 등 절차를 거치는 프로세스였습니다. 또 정부 방역 지침을 준수한 경기장 출입 절차입니다. 자가 진단 어플리케이션을 활용한 사전 자가 진단을 실시하고 전자 출입 명부를 작성하고 발열 체크를 실시한 후 인식표를 부착하는 프로세스입니다. 가운데 보이시는 그 방역 게이트가 대회에 참여하는 모든 출입자 관련자가 통과해야지만 출입을 할 수 있도록 방역 게이트를 운영하였습니다. 자, 사전 자가 진단 체크리스트의 주요 내용은 증상 유무와 유증상자 접촉 유무 이런 부분들을 본인이 스스로 저희 공단이 제공하는 어플리케이션을 통해서 사전 확인을 실시한 바 있습니다. 또한 QR 코드를 활용한 전자 출입 명부 출입 시스템을 활용하였습니다. 이 부분은 모든 경기장에 출입한 참여대에 대한 이동 동선을 추적 관리하는 시스템으로서 대한민국 질병관리청과 연계가 되어 있으며 만약에 상황 발생 시 정확한 사후 대응을 위한 기초 자료로 활용할 계획으로 실시하였습니다. 이렇게 자가 진단과 확인, 이 동선 확인을 거치고 발열 체크를 받은 이 출입자는 일자별 인식표를 착용하게 됩니다. 경기 중에 이동 시 신속한 확인과 정확도를 높이기 위해서 일자별 인식표를 활용하였습니다. 출입자에 대한 체온 체크는 열 화상 카메라와 비접촉 체온계를 활용하였으며 혹시라도 기준 온도인 37.5도가 넘을 경우에는 관계부처와 통보해서 2차 조치를 받은 바 있습니다. 주요 대규모 행사 운영입니다. 기존에는 보시는 바와 같이 화면에 보이시는 바와 같이 대규모 모임 대면 행사를 하였으나 유튜브를 활용한 온라인 비대면 행사로 전환하였습니다. 비대면 행사를 개최한 결과 조회수 9,300여 회, 시상식 조회수 6,300여 회 정도로 참여율이 비교적 호응이 좋았으며 아울러 참여자들과의 쌍방향 대화, 의견 이런 부분들을 접할 수 있는 좋은 기회도 되었습니다. 다음 경기 중에 대한 경기장 시설에 대한 방역으로서 경기 중에는 선수들이 전원 마스크를 착용하였습니다. 아울러 이격거리 2m를 준수하였으며 선수 간 접촉이 발생할 수 있는 공간에 대해서는 가림막을 설치하고 또한 동일 공간 내 50인 미만 대회를 운영하는 등 대한민국 정부에서 정한 방역 지침을 철저하게 준수하였습니다. 또한 심사 기술위원이나 선수들이 수시로 사용할 수 있도록 고무장갑, 손 소독제 등 주요 방역 물품을 경기장 곳곳에 비치하였으며 매일 아침에 경기 시작 전과 경기가 종료된 후에는 주요 공간에 대한 별도의 소독 방역을 실시하였습니다. 또 경기 중에 가장 심사위원 간에 또는 선수 간에 접촉이 많은 채점과 관련된 부분입니다. 올해부터 저희는 스마트 채점 관리 시스템을 활용해서 이 채점 시간과 선수 간, 기술위원 간 모여 있는 시간을 최소화할 수 있도록 웹을 활용한 순위를 확인을 진행하였습니다. 또한 기존에 그 국민들에게 그 오픈되어 있는 열려져 있는 그 경기장을 그 방역을 위해 부득이 선수와 기술위원들로 출입을 제한하다 보니 가족이나 또 관심 있는 모든 국민들이 참관을 할 수가 없었습니다. 자, 이런 부분들을 해소해 주기 위해서 CCTV를 실시간으로 경기장 모습과 채점 모습을 웹 공개함으로써 모든 사람들이 이 코로나19로 인해서 이 대회를 볼 수 없는 상황을 차단하였습니다. 또한 그 경기 중뿐만 아니라 경기가 끝난 후에도 2주 후에 2주 경과 후에 각 17개 지역에서 참여한 심사위원 또 선수들에게 모두 문자 메시지를 발송하고 그 코로나 증상 유무를 확인함으로써 사후 관리에도 철저를 기했습니다. 저희 지방대회 같은 경우에는 통상 4월 달에 전국이 17개 지역에서 일괄 실시되어 왔습니다. 하지만 올해 저희 대한민국의 지역별로 코로나 발생 그 비율이 빈도가 다름에 따라 지역별로 날짜 조정 분산을 실시했습니다. 통상 7월까지 4월부터 7월 사이에 지역별로 가장 코로나를 피할 수 있는 시기를 맞춰서 진행한 바도 있습니다. 저희 대한민국의 전국 기능 경기 대회 성공 요인으로서 전원 상시 대회 기간 중에 상시 마스크를 사용해야 했으며 또 스마트 채점 시스템, 온라인 비대면 행사, CCTV 웹 공개 등 IT 기술을 활용해서 대면 접촉을 최소화할 수 있는데 주안점을 둔 점, 또한 기본적으로 정부에서 정한 그 방역 지침을 철저하게 준수함으로써 경기장 그 대회 기간 중 또는 대회와 관련해서 코로나19 감염 및 확진자가 전혀 발생하지 않았음을 성공 요인으로 자평하고 있습니다. 이상입니다. 감사합니다.
한국의 김웅식 부장님 발표 감사드립니다. 한국의 기능 경기 대회는 팬데믹 상황에서 철저한 방역을 통해 안전한 기능 경기 대회를 개최했었는데 큰 의미가 있다고 하겠습니다. 그리고 저희들이 그 기능 경기 대회를 개최를 하면서 외부에서 그 코로나 확진자가 한 명이 발생을 했는데 저희들이 신속하게 격리를 조치시키고 경기장을 폐쇄를 하고 전원 진단 검사를 받아서 음성 판정을 다 받았습니다. 그래서 확산되지 않은 상황에서 경기를 성공적으로 치를 수 있었습니다. 다음으로 그 러시아에서 발표를 하겠습니다. 예카테리나 로슈카르바 월드스킬 러시아 기술 대표와 발제자 한 명이 추가되었습니다. 알리나 도스카노바 러시아 기술 대표가 같이 발표할 예정입니다. 러시아의 그 온라인 기능 경기대 개최 사례에 대해서 발표를 해주겠습니다. 박수로 환영해 주시기 바랍니다. 준비되셨나요?
So today, myself and Alina Daskanova want to share with you some of the results, some of the outcomes of our national final, which this year was organized in the hybrid format. So moving the competition to the hybrid format was a big challenge for us, of course, as for any countries who was suffering and dealing with the COVID this year. But I think the important step for us was that we made this decision on the really early stage. So in our supervisory board of the WorldSkills Russia, we made the decision in March that our national final going to be organized anyway, and that because of all of the symbols and signals that were raised already then in spring, we know that probably it's not going to be possible to organize it in a traditional way. That's why we decided from the beginning to arrange it in the online or a hybrid format. And as it turned on, when the autumn actually came, it looks like it was really wise decision back then, because in September we would not have another choice. So this competition in September 2020 became the largest for the WorldSkills Russia. It gathered over 3,000 competitors in more than 130 skills. Later then, in October, November, we organized the WorldSkills High-Tech competition, which is in Russia competition between young employees of industry companies, also in hybrid format. And within a week, next week, we're gonna start our WorldSkills Russia University fourth competition, which is the competition for universities, students in Russia, which also going to be organized in the hybrid format. So let's see the comparison of the traditional format versus hybrid format. In the traditional format, okay, now I can see that it's actually missed the naming and the format, but I think you all can see it actually need to be vice versa. So in the traditional format, we have one region who is hosting the competition, and in a hybrid format, basically all 85 regions of Russia become the hosters of the competition. Because of the challenging COVID situation, we decided that it's going to be the best solution if we gather major experts in the one competition managers centers, while the competitors are going to stay in their region. And because the situation with the COVID in each region was like really different back then, in some regions, there was only, in September, there were only minor cases of the COVID. So the restriction in some regions could be less than in other. So it was really important to keep this ability for the region to manage it on their own centers. So we have more than 100 actually best colleges involved as the venues for the competition in the region. As I already said, we have more competitors. The conference program and the closing opening ceremonies were also organized in the online format. I'm going to tell a few words about this later. And of course, the important challenge was for us to organize the visitor experience, because as David Howie mentioned, it is actually a really important part of the WorldSkills competition. Always, it's not competition, not only competition itself, but actually the students, the kids, the parents, everybody who can visit the competition and see how actually it's being organized. So in this case, of course, it was not possible physically due to the COVID restriction, but we tried to organize as more good quality online broadcast and visitor experience as possible in this challenging situation. So in the photo, you can see some of the examples of the virtual studios, which we used for the ceremonies and for the conference program. Also, we invite some famous Russian bloggers, YouTubers, to prepare a good quality videos about the competition to attract more young audience, because again, in the normal life, the kids, the students, they would just come to the venue. But in the situation when it's not possible for them to come to the venue physically, they only can observe the broadcast of the competition. It was important to mix this broadcast from the actual venue, from some competition platform, but also mix it with the stories from the colleges, from the bloggers, from the YouTubers, how they see kind of different skills and so on. So actually to make it interactive for them and to keep viewers' attention, which is much harder when we're talking about the online format. As I already said, the opening and closing ceremony was also organized in the online format. There was a specifically dedicated studios with the anchors and some VIP guests, but also there was good quality stream live broadcast to the YouTube, to the Facebook, to the special platforms. And speaking about the closing ceremony, this year it was organized not as always when it's a big, large, attractive event, but it was organized as basically the same as it on the Olympic Games. When the skill is finished and you already know the result, you can announce them. And for now already we can share that actually the emotions that we can see from the participants when they are even like watching the online closing ceremony are actually the same. So they're staying in their home regions, in their colleges, but you still, even through the screen, through the video, you can see their true emotions, which was also really great. So the conference program, as I said, also was organized online on the special platform. We're really thankful to our WorldSkills colleagues who join us for the different session, who joined the business, specific business mission events, which Alina organized for our international guests. And also we hosted the reflective show with our international experts and our colleagues from another national skills organization with Mr. Chris Humphreys, the president of WorldSkills, to discuss the results of this first hybrid competition. So on this slide, you can see some of the reflective results if we're talking about some achievements and some challenges. So definitely the challenges were mostly about some technical failures, some connectivity problem. Of course, when you're trying new format, you're also going to have new problems regarding the whole bunch of aspects when you're trying something for the new time. The literacy, the technical literacy of specialists also sometimes became an issue. Some poor communication issues and some problems with the setup and application submission because it was so massive. If you look at the size of the country, amount of the colleges, participants, of course, it was enormously hard to coordinate. But at the same time, there definitely were achievements. It was actually really convenient for experts to use this platform, the competition management centers with all of the cameras. Alina will show how it looked like partly. So it was really innovative solution to this challenging situation. So it was a competition in new format, definitely. So also, as David said, only in the future we can see which of the solution were created specifically for this challenging crisis situation and which we can use in the future for the future events, for some assessment, pre-selection process, and so on. But anyway, this format already in our portfolio, we already know how to arrange it, and this is really important. And of course, the whole equipment of cameras. Here you can see on some key numbers, which are showing that there was then more than ever participants of both competition and conference program. More than 10,000 cameras were connected to the platform and used for this hybrid competition. More than 1,000 connection of assessment expert per day. Also, you can see some scary numbers about the terabytes of the saved videos and how big traffic was for the data center. Alina organized great business mission program for participants more than from 17 countries. And also we have enormous numbers, more than 300,000 broadcast views daily, which was surprising even for us. In this stage, I would transfer floor, give a mic to the Miss Alina Daskanova, so she can tell you more about actually all of the aspects of actually how competition was organized. Alina, floor is yours.
Thank you, Kate. Hello, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity to share our experience at Capacity Building Partnership in Korea. So I would like to mention key features, and I would like to share best cases from our experts in few skills. So as already have been mentioned, the key point that it was not one location, it was multi-locations. And it was not just workshop at one venue, it was workshops in each particular college, at each particular educational institution. However, the infrastructure was completely the same. And colleges have been responsible to build infrastructure and workshop according to the infrastructure list. What is important that for monitoring that competitors perform and make their test projects themselves without any cheating and without any help. It was 24 hours video recording or live stream, how competitors perform their task. And then it was different particular cases regarding assessment. It was assessment made by video, it was assessment based by photo, it was IT skills with cloud solutions, and some completely finished products have been sent to management center. And now I'd like to share best cases in particular skills. So for example, like welding. Competitors from welding perform the same test project as they usually perform at the competition. And all the competitors have been in their educational institution. They have a camera, and all the experts have been in the competition management center. And experts have access to each work place of the competitor and monitor how competitor is doing test project. Next slide, please. And after the competition have been finished, all competitors need to send the completed test product to management center. And all the experts have been in this management center, and they make assessment of this final welded joints. So for us, we understood that, for example, in welding, it was hybrid competition because all the competitors have been in the working places, like in real competition. However, the communication channel was through online, and then the assessment was also in a real format. Next slide, please. We have a lot of questions from countries, how it's possible to make judgment and how to manage with creative and service skills in hybrid format. So our experts in hairdressing develop following, they develop special guide, specific guide how to assess by photos and what kind of photos all the competitors and experts have to make, which will allow to make a judgment for hairdressing. So it was the same that all competitors have been at their colleges, experts have been at the management center, and then based on the result, all competitors make the pictures and experts assess through the pictures and photos. Next slide, please. And of course, when we are talking about IT skills, all IT skills, it's possible to deliver through the remote digital format model. And in this case, even competitors, it was possible for competitors even perform from home. Because what is most important, that competitors have done their test project, and it was live stream of the desktop of the competitors. So experts can see the process, how competitors are doing test project. When competitors finish their test project, this test project goes to the cloud, and then it was possible to make assessment by the experts looking for this cloud and make assessment. The next one, please. We have few models and quite a lot of skills when special software have been developed, especially of the promising skills, which for us are part of the Future Skills project. So it was developed special platform for robot system integration. When we have, like in usual life, we have this robot, and we have this robots in production line in the factories. And our experts and companies and partners have been developed digital platform. So the digital platform have all digital twins, and competitors have programmed special code for develop new production line. and they tested this code in digital platform. However, the same code can be implemented in a real factory. So in this case, for us, we have opportunity to spread possibility not just for few competitors who can take part in the skills because we have limited production line. We can invite much more competitors to take part in robot system integration now, and we can use this platform which have been developed for competition, but now we can use this platform for learning and for education. And next slide, please. And one of the most promising model which have been developed in few skills, when there is a special education institution, or sometimes it's not education system institution, it could be a venue of the partner or like real factory or fabric. And the model is that competitors perform from home or from the educational institution and have remote access to testing ground. Next slide, please. So this testing ground have been constructed in few places. And for example, for the model remote object in drone operating, competitors get access first to simulation platform and then to test their project, and then final project have been tested at the remote venue. So based on our experience, now we have developed skill-specific rules per each skill, and it's possible not just deliver competition online and in hybrid format, it's possible to arrange trainings and education for our students. So as results of hybrid format, we can involve more competitors and experts in competition, in education, and make different programs regarding new assessment programs. Thank you.
Thank you, Alina. Thank you, colleague. In the Q&A piece, we would be happy to answer your question. Moderator, back to you.
네. 네, 수고하셨습니다. 네, 러시아의 그 예카테리나 공식 대표님과 알리나 기술 대표님 모두 수고 많으셨고요. 그 러시아의 사례는 팬데믹 상황에서 하이드로 포맷으로 진행할 수 있는 혁신적인 그런 사례인 것 같습니다. 아마 모든 나라에서도 IT 기술과 좀 접목을 해서 하이드로 포맷을 갖다 적용을 할 필요가 있다는 생각이 좀 듭니다. 다음은 마지막으로 닐 벤틀리 콩만 월드스킬 영국 대표께서 코로나19 팬데믹 상황에서도 지속적인 기능 경기 인력 양성 사례에 대해 발표해 주시겠습니다. 박수로 환영해 주시기 바랍니다.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the invitation to join you today to share some of our experience from the United Kingdom. I will now share my screen. So there are two things I would like to talk about this morning. Firstly, some context, which is that when the pandemic struck, we were in the UK just about to launch our national skills competitions program. And so as a result, we had to cancel the program and our finals, which we were normally would be hosting exactly at this time. So what I wanted to talk to you about this morning is how we have managed to stay engaged with our competitors who we had selected already to be in competition for a place to compete at World Skills Shanghai. So the competitors who are in Squad UK. And to talk to you about what we've been doing with them, and also how we've been engaging our experts and training managers to keep them engaged, as well as then talking to you about how we are moving to mainstream the know-how and the training that we do for World Skills into the UK skills system. So first of all, thinking about the virtual training that we did, and a little bit the same as our colleagues in World Skills Russia, as Alina was outlining, all of our training has gone virtual, as I hope you can see from some of the pictures on the screen. Our experts delivered online sessions, the theory elements and video demonstrations and simulations. The material was all delivered to the competitors, mostly at their homes initially, because that's where they were carrying on their training at home. And then when colleges were allowed to open, then some of the training took place in colleges as well. There was a lot of online peer assessment groups and work that was done, bringing people together in communities and webinars like this to share experience and to undertake group assessment. There was a lot of video and photographic evidence that was submitted for assessment. And all of this has driven a lot of change in how we think about not just the running of skills competitions, but how we do online assessments and distance remote assessment. Again, very much in the way that Alina was talking about from a World Skills Russia perspective. And I believe that this is very much part of a new way of working for us in World Skills in the UK, but also for our education partners across the TVET system. And I think that we'll be using this technology and ways of assessing remotely for lots of competitions for the years to come. So this is a new opportunity for us to do things differently, cost effectively, and actually be able to increase the impact that we're having with more young people who want to engage in the skills competitions program. We have, of course, kept in touch and made sure that we have created a real sense of engaged community for our experts with virtual conferences and webinars, making sure that they remained engaged with us as World Skills UK and with each other as a community of experts and as a community of professionals, so that they could continue to share best practice with each other, and also what they were learning from their engagement with their counterparts in other world skills countries, and bring that know-how, expertise and insight to the wider group of UK experts. All of this work then, engaging them, helped us develop new innovations in terms of how we assess and how we develop the capability that we need to assess against the World Skills occupational standards. But a huge part of bringing our experts together, and also the competitors, which we managed to do on a number of occasions, was to make sure that we were engaging with them, to make sure that we were supporting their well-being and their mental health, and making sure that World Skills UK was exercising a duty of care to our experts and competitors, and making sure that we were supporting them in the best way possible through their training, but also keeping them engaged and keeping them focused with a positive mindset during the difficult times that we were all experiencing during lockdown. And of course, through engaging our training managers and experts and our performance coaches, we have been able to continue benchmarking our work with our partners across the World Skills community. And it is this benchmarking that has led us this year to accelerate the development of the World Skills UK Centre of Excellence. And that is a new innovation for us with a UK partner called NCFE. This was established as a result of research that Oxford University undertook for us in the UK to look at the training that our experts do to train young people to compete internationally. The report set out a number of recommendations, But the key one for us was to establish a knowledge transfer mechanism so that we can transfer the know-how and training methods that we use to train young people to world-class standards in the UK and mainstream that and transfer that into the UK system. So that programme has now been established. There was overwhelming demand from colleges in the UK system to be involved in this programme. So much so that alongside the WorldSkills UK Centre of Excellence, we have also established a new innovation network, the goal of which is to share best practice and insight nationally as well as internationally with our college partners. And all of this is being done virtually. And we have done and established this whole system and community online. And we will continue to work online as effectively as possible as we go into next year. Now, the Centre of Excellence in itself, there are 4 key elements which you can see on the screen. The key one is developing skills excellence and transferring the know-how from our experts, many of whom we have now hired into the Centre of Excellence and recruited them as employees to deliver transfer knowledge training, train the trainer models to help really embed our know-how into colleges to improve curriculum innovation and development. We have also developed a library of resources for trainers and educators. Now, again, as a result of the pandemic, we have accelerated the digital element of these resources, and next week we are launching our Digital Skills Development Hub, which will be a new platform within the Centre of Excellence, which will host a lot of digital materials around mindset training and performance coaching, as well as curriculum innovation training, looking at how to train young people to world-class standard and how it links to curriculum innovation and standard setting. And so that new resource will be available from next week. Our experts will also be working with standard setters in the UK government, as well as standard setters across the TVET systems in the UK to influence them to move the ambition for standards from competence to excellence. And of course, we will also continue to be developing insights and research with partners across WorldSkills, across the globe, so that we are helping to provide a compendium of case studies of skills systems across the world and what we can learn from them. And again, we would love to share more of those insights and our research with you as our partners. In addition to all of this, we are continuing to develop and gather our global insights to influence policy in the UK, so that more of our government partners and our industry partners, as well as our education partners, understand the value of WorldSkills and understand the value of training to meet excellent standards. 2 weeks ago, we published some skills excellence essays with contributions from WorldSkills partners, as well as partners around the UK, which talk about the importance of achieving excellence as a standard. And we also hosted an international skills summit, very much like this one today, with our partners in the UK, our ministers, our former ministers, our employer partners, and our partners in skills, and our partners from WorldSkills across the world. And all of that is with a view to engaging as many partners in the education system and really helping to drive up the standards of training and assessment that we afford young people. And through our Centre of Excellence in particular, we are seeking to engage and support 40,000 young people, which is way beyond the normal training reach that we would have through our competition activity. So it's all about increasing our impact, increasing our reach, and being able to do so digitally and online as a real benefit and a boon for the work that we want to do to help mainstream excellence across UK skills systems. So that is an insight into how we are thinking in the UK. And of course, we are very happy to share and work with partners across the UK, across the world, formally and informally, so that we can share best practice and we can really utilize the World Skills Network to make sure that we are all driving up standards from competence to excellence in all of our skill systems, so more young people can succeed in work and life across the globe. Thank you very much for your time and listening this morning, and I look forward to further engagement. And thank you so much to World Skills Korea and World Skills for facilitating our engagement today.
감사합니다. 닐 벤틀리 콩만 대표님 감사드리고요. 영국의 그 사례는 그 온라인으로 진행된 그 사례가 굉장히 혁신적인 사례인 것 같고요. 그리고 청년 참가자들의 안전이라든지 그다음에 그 건강이라든지 이런 것들도 매우 중요시하면서 영국 사회에서 주류가 되기 위해서 협업하는 그런 사례들은 매우 훌륭한 사례인 것 같습니다. 그러면 이상으로 섹션 세 부분 발표를 모두 들었습니다. 오늘 훌륭한 강연을 해주신 발제자 여러분 모두에게 다시 한번 감사의 박수를 보내주시기 바랍니다. 그럼 지금부터 오늘 발표하신 내용에 관해 질의응답 시간을 갖도록 하겠습니다. 질문이 있으신 분은 손을 들거나 줌 채팅창에 질문을 남겨주시기 바랍니다. 먼저 줌 채팅방으로 질문 온 것들을 질문토록 하겠습니다. 필리핀에서 질문했습니다. 한국의 모바일 채점 시스템 사용 방법과 다운로드가 가능한지 문의가 있었습니다. 부장님 설명. 네.
그냥 얘기하면 되죠. 한국에서 올해 그 사용한 모바일 채점 시스템은 그 휴대폰과 그 랜 장비를 활용해서 이 채점을 자동 그 집계 및 정확하고 신속하게 하는 장비입니다. 뭐 이렇게 다운로드 받아서 활용할 수 있는 이런 그 소프트웨어적 개념은 아님을 좀 말씀을 드립니다. 이상입니다.
네, 감사합니다. 다음은 그 콜롬비아 기술 대표께서 질문한 내용인데요. 러시아에서 온라인으로 진행된 그런 기능 경기 대회 중에서 요리 등은 과제 채점 시에 과제물을 중앙으로 이동해서 심사를 하는 건지 이런 질문이 있었습니다. 러시아 공식 대표님 답변 부탁드리겠습니다. 예카테리나 네. 부탁드리겠습니다.
Yeah, it's interesting that Alina in the chat with a colleague already that the independent expert from the industry were invited to the venue. But also I think Neil can add a lot here because we have a conversation with their expert in cooking actually. And what's the cooking experts are discussing within themselves that if you create the system when you kind of picture and measure and describe in your process of cooking each stage step by step, so it's almost impossible if you follow all of the rules and you follow the whole process and descriptions and photos and so on to have untested result in the end, because it's not like surprisingly happened what you have as a result of your cooking process. So it was basically a combination of both factors. And I think, yeah, Neil, you can add here because it was a question to us, but I know that you have a great cooking expert.
Thank you, Kate. And yes, so our UK expert has helped develop a procedure and a process for online assessment, which really goes to the heart of, I think, a very structured and programmed approach to each stage of the competition and what is being expected. And we have helped develop that onto an online tool, which we'll be able to share because our expert, Sean, has really put a lot into developing a video which helps everybody see how you can use online assessment in particular to make sure that we are getting the right standard, and you can see the standard that is expected as well as delivering to that standard. And we can happily share the links with you to those videos. He's a very dynamic expert and has lots of personality, and that comes across in the delivery of his skills. So it's a very engaging program as well. It's a very engaging video, and I think it really shows very clearly at the end what a competent standard would look like in his skill of cooking, and then you see what the world skills excellence standard looks like at the end. And it's a very clear and simple demonstration that you can use with anybody to explain the value of world skills and the competition and the training and assessment that goes into the work that we all do.
네, 콜롬비아 기술 대표님 답변이 어떻게 됐는지 모르겠습니다. 다음 질문이 있으면 질문을 해주시기 바랍니다. 저도 영국 대표님께 질문 하나 드리도록 하겠습니다. 청소년들이 최근에 힘든 일을 하지 않으려고 기능 경기나 기술 이런 쪽에 많이 참여하지 않는 게 현실인 것 같습니다. 그래서 영국 사회에서는 주류가 되도록 위해서 다양한 방법을 협력해서 진행을 한다고 이렇게 말씀을 하셨는데, 청소년들이 어떻게 주류로, 영국 사회에서 주류로 갈 수 있도록 하는 건지 한번 설명을 좀 부탁드리겠습니다.
So thank you for the question. I think, like many countries, the value of what we do is underestimated, and that there's also cultural issues around the value and economic value as well as social value that's placed on the development of vocational skills. What we've been doing in the UK, like many other countries, is focusing on excellence, focusing on the quality that you get through world skills, which is about not just driving up the standard of training, but focusing on the outcome and the impact for young people, which is a better standard of education, which leads to better career opportunities and ultimately better rewards in terms of pay and development. And we have tracked progress through research, which shows that young people in the UK who have participated in skills competitions do better in work and life compared with those who do not engage in skills competitions. So I think it's very important that we get that message out to young people, that by following career pathways that are about developing skills can stand you in, put you in a better position for development in work and life. I think also that encouraging young people as a result of the pandemic and their parents to rethink career and education pathways is really important. As we have seen across many countries, the value of skills has really come to the fore, and governments and businesses and many education partners are really rethinking their approach to skills development. And I think that world skills in each country has a really important role to play to champion the supply of high quality skills, as well as instigating the demand for high quality skills from our industry partners, as we're all looking to create a skills-led recovery and making sure that we are not just championing this supply, but also championing that industry demands higher quality to make our economies more productive and more competitive. And in doing so, I think that makes skilled career routes and the work that we do in World Skills more attractive as a program which can help accelerate young people's development to reach those higher standards in an accelerated way. And secondly, I think that from the experience we have and talking to lots of young people, I think one of the challenges we have sometimes is that some people are attracted to competition and engaging in competition, and some young people aren't attracted to a competitive environment. And so how we describe what we do also needs to be thoughtful and imaginative. And so we in the UK have been talking about changing how we describe our work from simply being about competition to being about skills development and to being about collaboration and a supportive environment, which will not only develop their skills, but as I mentioned earlier, make sure we're engaging to strengthen young people's mindset, their mental health and their resilience, and making sure that a very strong part of our programs is we're developing not just employability skills, but skills for life as well. And by bringing all of that together, I think we have a more compelling offer for young people, and to convince their parents that working with us and choosing vocational routes is sometimes the best way forward.
Thank you very much. 네네. 다음에는 러시아 알리나 기술 대표님께서 아까 답변이 좀 부족했던 것 같습니다. 아까 그 요리에 대해서 추가적인 답변을 해주시겠다고 합니다. 알리나?
As it was already mentioned, we invited independent experts from the industry to the venues for assessment. So for us, it's also was great opportunity to involve more representative from real sectors toward skills and to education. So in this case, our experts community is growing up, because more experts for such kind of competition, we need much more experts who can help with assessment. And as it was the second question regarding construction sector, so we have done with the same with construction sector. So we invite experts from real construction companies for assessment as well. We have very high quality cameras and experts from competition management centers use help of the experts who have been at the venue to check particular measurement. So it was really possible bring camera to the particular model which have to be measured and check how measurement have been done. It was correctly or not correctly. And it was highlighted by Columbia regarding automated assessment. At this stage in Russia, we make research skill by skill regarding how it's possible to arrange automated assessment. If Colombia or Korea or any other countries working also on this kind of proposals, let's develop such kind of possibility together, such kind of tools.
네, 감사합니다. 네. 다음은 원격 이외에도 경기 결과물을 CMC로 이송을 해서 실무를 평가한다고 하는데 이송 과정에서 온전한 보존 방법, 그 다음에 이런 것들에 대해서 어려움은 없는지, 아까 용접을 갖고 사례를 들은 것 같습니다. 한번 러시아에서 다시 한번 답변 부탁드리겠습니다.
I think, yeah, Alina, you can answer, but it wasn't actually an issue because we pretty can trust the DHL to deliver safely the results of our competitors' work. So we were just working with some leading delivery companies as in DHL and trusted them with that everything going to be delivered safely. It wasn't a big issue actually.
네. 네, 감사합니다. 네. 네. 어디서 질문한 건가요? 네? 예. 지금 질문 온 게 하나가 있는데요. 그 한국에 질문 온 겁니다. 경기 진행 중에서 선수 확진자가 나올 경우에 어떻게 진행을 하느냐고 질문이 왔습니다. 네, 코스타리카에서 질문을 했습니다. 네, 답변.
네, 저희 대한민국에서는 선수가 이제 확진된 경우는 없었고요. 이제 의심 환자 발생 시에 신속한 진단 검사를 통해서
진행이죠.
네?
진행.
네네. 그 경기 진행 중 그 열이 발생한다거나 이런 경우에는 신속히 확인해서 그 음성 판정임을 확인했습니다. 그래서 확진된 경우는 없는데 어쨌든 저희가 그 대회로서뿐만이 아니라 국가 질병관리 체계상에서 확진된 경우에는 즉시 그 모든 활동을 그 중지하고 격리토록 돼 있습니다. 그래서 이 부분은 만약에 이제 확진자로 확인됐다라면은 즉시 이제 그 지정된 격리 장소에서 그 질병관리본부의 통제를 받게 되었을 겁니다. 만약에 이제 이렇게 어떻게 경기를 진행하냐는 이런 경우는 발생할 수가 없다라고 말씀드리겠습니다. 이상입니다.
혹시 추가적인 질문이 있으면 질문해 주시기 바랍니다. 네.
네, 러시아 발표가 굉장히 인상 깊었고요. 제가 하나 궁금한 사항이 있어서 러시아 대표님께 질문드리도록 하겠습니다. 그 전통 방식에서 이제 하이브리드 방식으로 변경을 했는데 굉장히 큰 변화인 것 같습니다. 거기에 따른 뭐 카메라를 만 대를 설치하고 IT 기술을 활용하고 이런 거 봤을 때 굉장히 큰 변화라고 생각하고요. 굉장히 감명받았습니다. 제가 질문하고 싶은 거는 이 전통 방식에서 하이브리드 방식으로 바꾸면서 기존의 이제 예산이라든지 이런 시설비가 전통으로 했을 때보다도 더 많이 들어갔는지 아니면은 더 이렇게 예산이 더 절감이 됐는지 혹시 그러한 부분에 있어서 공유를 좀 해주시면 감사하겠습니다.
Okay, I can answer, start answering this and then I can add. So, well, again, to be honest, yeah, the original assumption would be that you will spend less, but not actually, because yeah, you save a lot of money on some stuff, but you also spend money or on like purchasing additional equipment and so on. I know for sure that for our regions, it was kind of almost the same because Russia is a big country. So usually they spend a lot of money on traveling costs, on the, you know, like the tickets, flights, traveling, hotels, and so on. So usually this like traveling costs were pretty big. And in this case, because they were able to stay in their regions, they can spend the money that they save on traveling and actually equipping the purchasing these cameras and so on. So I think that our regions is or almost like make it even or maybe even spend less. Concerning the world, because Russia is a kind of as a federal body, I think we do not save money, to be honest, but we do not spend more as well, simply because we do not have an extra money for this year for the competition, and because of all of this like stressful times, it would be simply not possible to unfortunately find some additional significant amount of money. So I would say that we come almost even. Alina, do you want to add here?
Thank you, Kate. Yes, just few notes. So it's important to understand that the budget like almost the same, but different categories. So instead of, for example, it was more budget for experts because we need more experts for assessment. So in this case, but for us, it's a question of the legacy. So based on 2020 experience, it's more people who have been learned how to make assessment based on world skill standards. Also, for example, it's the question about the legacy. So when we run a competition in one city, all the legacy is for the city and the city origin would like to update infrastructure in all colleges. So this region would like to host the competition. And with this multi-locations format, it was upgrade of particular infrastructure of the college. However, it's also the question of the budget, like it's one region who invest or other regions as well. So it was more complicated for world skill structure because it was not like one pocket when we are working with one region. It was a lot of negotiation with all actually 83 regions. So it's more investments and more time for us as for skills development agency. However, it's and one important point that in this case it's different work with partners, because if you would like to host in one venue competition, you have different proposal for your industrial partners, for vendors, or when it's different regions. So it was different models for partnership, even for different skills. However, we would like to mention that first, when the pandemic starts, we think that it will be quite a challenge to keep in touch with all our partners, because most of them always was interested to support event. However, this time, when it was multi-locations, we also have a lot of support from our partners who was ready to provide different kind of items or materials, or even, and what is very important, that actually our partners develop new technologies platform for the competition. So it's like more like always with world skills, it's about your partnership, about different resources from different stakeholders.
네, 감사합니다. 네. 다음은 코스타리카 기술 대표님께서 직접 영국 대표님께 질문을 한다고 합니다. 가능한지 모르겠습니다. 코스타리카 대표님. 네. 대표님, 예, 코스타리카 기술 대표께서 저희들한테 질문한 게 있습니다. 그걸 설명을 좀 드리도록 하겠습니다.
From Loy Ramirez Quesada. Questions for Mr. Bentley and World Skills UK. I would like to know what has been the acceptance of the different Tibet institutions to implement the World Skills standards in the development of the training offer, and what strategies have been followed to socialize and position the standards as a model to follow.
Thank you, Roy. I think the question is how have our partners responded to the proposals to integrate world skills standards into their practices. And I can say that at the moment there is a lot of interest. There has been significant interest from our education partners, who are particularly, I would say, interested in driving up the standards of the training and assessment that they are able to do, and are keen to use the world skills benchmarks and keen to use the world skills occupational standards as a way of benchmarking against UK standards, and to identify the gaps and to identify where and in which areas we need to boost standards and training. I think from an industry perspective, there is already benchmarking that takes place when we set apprenticeship standards in the UK to world skills occupational standards, and that benchmarking takes place formally before those apprenticeship standards are approved. And from a government perspective, there is increasing interest in international benchmarking of our whole skill system to other countries. And so this is why we have been doing a lot of work over the past 2 to 3 years to engage our partners globally and to do more research and to gather insight into other countries' skills systems within the World Skills Network to demonstrate to policymakers the value of benchmarking and the value of driving up standards using world skills methods. And there is a lot of interest now from all governments in the UK to consider how we can adopt and mainstream those standards. So I would say in summary, there has been a positive response to proposals and propositions from us in World Skills UK to adopt and to integrate and mainstream world skills thinking into policy and in practice from government, education and business. I would also say there's a lot of work to do still, I think, in terms of all of us collectively looking to bring to the fore the work that we do within World Skills and the World Skills occupational standards so that they become fully recognised by governments, education partners and businesses, not just globally as a standard of excellence to be achieved, but then work that we need to do to mainstream those standards into our thinking and in our practice in each country, which is a member of World Skills. And we are very keen to work with World Skills and our partners globally, as well as our peers like yourself in Costa Rica and others around the world to learn from you and to share best practice so that we are all moving in the same direction, which is mainstreaming our world skills know-how to improve the standards of skills in each of our countries so that more young people are getting that higher standard of education, which will improve their work and life chances.
네, 감사합니다. 네. 그러면 이제 시간이 많이 가서요. 딱 한 분만 저희들이 질문 받도록 하겠습니다. 콜롬비아에서 질의한 건데요. 한국의 그 방역을 위해서 참가자의 개인 정보를 수집하는지 여부를 질의를 하였습니다. 답변 부탁드리겠습니다.
네, 답변 드리겠습니다. 저희는 이 코로나 관련해서 참여들의 추적 관리를 대한민국 정부 질병관리청에서 운영하는 어플을 활용, QR 코드를 활용해서 확인을 하였습니다. 즉 이제 민감한 개인 정보들은 정부 서버에 곧장 이제 저장이 되었고, 저희 이제 한국위원회도 사실은 접근이 되지 않는 영역이죠. 그 부분은 이제 만약에 상황 발생했을 때 신속하게 확인을 위해서 이제 운영된 부분이고, 다만 이제 한국위원회 측에서 전체적인 이 대회라든가 행사 관리를 위해서 필요한 기본적인 인적 사항 정도는 별도로 운영된 사전 자가 진단 어플을 통해서 이런 부분들은 저희가 수집을 했습니다만, 뭐 그거는 이제 저희 대한민국 법에서 정하는 허용이 가능한 수준까지는 사전 진단 어플을 통해서 그 이상의 부분은 영역은 정부에 직접 본인이 데이터베이스를 제공하는 형태로 운영이 되었습니다. 이상입니다.
네, 감사합니다. 네, 오늘 섹션 3에서 발표된 사례들을 보면 한국의 K 방역 사례는 오프라인 상황에서 기능 경기대회를 어떻게 가야 할지, 또 러시아와 영국의 사례들은 이 팬데믹 상황이 바로 끝나지 않은 이런 상황에서 온라인으로 어떻게 기능 경기를 진행해야 될지 이런 아주 좋은 사례를 보여주는 것 같습니다. 그래서 아마 많은 나라들이 도움이 됐으면 합니다. 이상으로 섹션 3 발표 및 Q&A 시간을 마치겠습니다. 끝까지 경청해 주시고 참여해 주신 여러분께 감사의 말씀을 드립니다. 그리고 오늘 훌륭한 기조 강연을 해주신 WSI 데이비드 호이 사무총장님과 세 분의 발제자분들께도 진심으로 감사드립니다. 이제 마이크를 사회자께 행사 마무리를 위해서 넘기겠습니다. 감사합니다.
Thank you to the moderator, speakers, and all participants of the discussion for a lively and engaging session. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to begin the closing ceremony of the 2020 Capacity Building Partnership Webinar on Skills Competition, which was held for the last 2 days. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Lee Myung-hoon to deliver a closing remarks.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as the Secretary General of World Skills Korea and Executive Director of Global Institute for Transferring Skills, I'm very pleased that 2020 Capacity Building Partnership webinar on skills computation finished successfully. I sincerely thank all the participants for taking the valuable time for the two-day webinar and for participating in presentations and discussions actively. In addition, I would like to express my gratitude to Chris Humphries, the President of World Skills International, David Hoy, the Chief Executive Officer of World Skills International, and all members for the active support. Honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, at this seminar, we shared productive opinion on how to bridge the skills gap and develop a sustainable skills competition in the era of COVID-19. It is obvious that the impact of COVID-19 on the world is enormous, and the world after the pandemic will never be the same. Finding new forms and roles in skills training and skills competitions. In response to the COVID-19 era, has become a common issue. It should be addressed by skilled professionals around the world. The reason why a stakeholder of skills competition from 29 countries gathered in one place beyond the time difference between continents was that we wanted to solve these challenges together. I believe that the discussion for 2 days was to narrow the skills gap, including the role of the international community. It has given us a lot of meaning as well as insight, though sharing best practice and effort for developing sustainable skills competition. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we do not stop our effort to promote mutual cooperation for cultivating skilled professionals continuously. The participants today are those who are responsible for nurturing skilled professionals in each country and understand the needs and changes better than anyone else. I would appreciate it if you could help in developing this seminar as a meaningful start of change. We will make efforts to create better skills and a better world by faithfully fulfilling our roles as a member of World Skills International and the first WSI Capacity Building Center. Once again, I deeply appreciate your passion and interest during this seminar and wish you good health, happiness, and prosperity. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lee Myung-hoon, for the closing two-day webinar. With that, I would like to thank all the distinguished participants of the 2020 Capacity Building Partnership Webinar on Skills Competition for making it a truly memorable and distinguished event. It was an honor to be a part of this webinar. Thank you everyone for your undivided attention and your great enthusiasm. Please stay safe and healthy until we meet in person again. Thank you very much.